The Steven School Alchemy YouTube channel. I've got some unboxing to do. I want to show some things here. I went to the Rock and Gem show and got some crystals. I also got a new flask. So I'm going to show some of these things here. I need to set up better lighting. Okay, there, get rid of the echo. I probably need to set up better lighting at the table here. I could actually bring a light closer. There we go. I'm just setting up a light. Hello there, welcome to the Steven School Alchemy YouTube channel. I'm just setting up another light here. So that we can see. I've got some crystals from the Rock and Gem show that I bought. And I got a new alchemy glass. I had one like this before, a long time ago, and it was pretty cool. So I'm going to unbox the alchemy glass. This is a 500 ml flask. The interesting thing is the size of the neck joint. The ground glass neck in this flask is size 45/50. So it's got an extra large neck. What's important about the extra large neck? Because when I'm doing distillations, sometimes I see things like volatile salts that I would like to collect, and they can be very hard to get at. And in the medieval times, alchemists used to break their glass to get at it sometimes, or devise a custom distillation vessel. This one, I've got more pieces coming. There's a reducer bushing coming that's not here yet, and it fits in here, and it'll reduce this neck to the size of 2440, which means once I have this on a hot plate in a clamp stand, I can put a 2440 glass alembic distillation head on top. And when I'm finished with my distillation, I can take the pieces apart and reach in here with a tool, which will make cleaning easier, but also any volatile salts will be easier to collect if I can take the distillation or apparatus apart into pieces and have a good size opening like that to reach in. I like this. So I want to do some animal realm alchemy, and this is going to be used for that. I did notice on eBay a much larger alembic distillation head. I just saw that one today that looks pretty interesting, so I'm going to start with what I ordered here for that purpose, but in the future I may order the larger one. It's going to be much more expensive. Allow me to sip my drink here, I'm a bit thirsty. Now onto the crystals. So I went to the Rock and Gem show, and you know that crystals and gems and minerals can be expensive, so they add up quickly. I do have 2 specimens in here that I bought. The interesting thing is, lately I seem to have gotten a little bit better at business. These two crystals together costed $130. I only had $120 on my person at the time, so I asked the salesman if he would accept that, and he did. This is a nice, very nice specimen quality sulfur crystal. Let's look how pretty that is. Get some light on it. It's a very, very shiny, nice specimen sulfur crystal. It feels wax. It feels like wax in my hand. It's such a pretty crystal. I don't know if this camera is doing it justice. I might need better lighting. This crystal is quite pretty. The designs in it and everything are so intricate. I probably need to get one of those ring lights with a magnifier in it. Now this sulfur crystal is from the El Desierto mine in, it says Boiva. I've never heard of Boiva. I wonder if they meant to say Bolivia. I think they mistyped it. It's got to be Bolivia. El Desierto mine in Bolivia. So this is a very, very nice looking specimen quality sulfur crystal. And as if you can see the label in there, he was asking $100 for that crystal. Sulfur crystals, nice quality ones, can be expensive, so I don't think that's a bad price. Would have liked to have gotten more crystals, but they add up quickly. And here, this is Fibrous Malachite. Fibrous Malachite from the Mashamba West mine in the Congo. Interesting. So let's have a look at that. Oh, that is very pretty in the light. The guy I got it from told me, he said look at it in the sunlight. I've got a flashlight here. I hope the camera is showing a good picture of it, because this crystal is very, very pretty. Fibrous Malachite. The green color is exceptional, and the reason I picked this, I also have some garnets still. The reason I picked this, if you read the writings of Michael Sendebogius in his New Chemical Light, he talks about a vapor, an unctuous vapor or moisture that purifies things with the rising and falling of the vapor. And so I want to try the experiment on this and see if any kind of gemstones will grow from this. If I do a crystal growing experiment with this fibrous malachite, I want to see if gemstones will grow, and specifically by the color and other samples I've seen of malachite, I'm wondering if emeralds grow from this. There's some interesting silvery tips on this specimen. It's a very pretty rock. I want to do some crystal growing experiments, alchemy crystal growing experiments with it. Dissolve and coagulate with the secret water. Not just any water, but the secret water. And see what interesting crystals may grow from it. I think they will. I'm not going to do that with the sulfur crystal. I'm going to hang on to that one. This is quite a gem. I do eventually want to do some alchemy experiments with the sulfur crystal. But that's a very special experiment, a very special recipe that I've had tucked away for a long time. Alchemy recipe from way back that was handed down and not carelessly flaunted around too much. And one of the ingredients that recipe called for was sulfur, as it comes from the mines. Sulfur can be dangerous to work with. It can, if it's burned, it can create toxic fumes. This is a big chunk of sulfur. If I experiment with it, I can take smaller samples from it to experiment with. So that's what I have. The sulfur crystal. And the fibrous malachite crystal. And the big alchemy egg. I call this my big alchemy egg. It's a 500 ml flask, round bottom round flask. It's a handful, and it's got a big neck, an extra wide neck. I know some people have been asking me to show the crystal specimens that I got from the Rock and Gem show, and there they are. The fibrous malachite is very pretty. It has a distinct green color. I need a magnifying glass because there's some interesting things over here. I see silvery tips, but I see gold colored tips. All right. I'm getting back into my alchemy experiments. Matter of fact, I can bring my red lion out here because there's some work I want to do with that. There will be more rock and gem shows I believe I will be able to acquire more crystal samples with different minerals and stuff. I'm gonna bring over the red lion now and do a little work with it really quick. So here it is. I uploaded a YouTube Shorts video yesterday on this, which you can watch. And I have some more video footage that I haven't uploaded yet. I'm gonna do a quick work with that really quick. All right, here I have some water, mortar and pestle. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour this red lion material into the glass. I do have more of the red lion material. I'm going to wash the calcination vessel later on before I use it again. And now, okay, so here's my red lion. I'm gonna put it in the mortar and pestle. I want to grind it up again. I completed the second calcination of this material. Now this is the second grinding of it. Grinding or trituration. It's shown interesting colors. It is a red, like the final fixed red of Michael Senobogius writings, but it also has the last remnants of a peacock's tail of sparkly little colors in there. However, I'm not finished calcining it yet. If you've read my books, I mentioned in there calcining, grinding, washing, calcining, grinding, washing, roasting, grinding, washing, roasting, grinding, washing, roasting, and calcining. These two words are sort of interchangeable. One is more from an older time and one is more modern. But it's basically the same thing. Roasting the material, burning off impurities until we have a incombustible sulfur that is theoretically no longer affected by fire because it's been burned until it can't burn anymore. Now, okay, I pour that back in here. And next I'm going to wash it. Now, this is not just any water, but this is distilled water. And you know, it's interesting that in the Bible they speak of holy water. My understanding is that holy means pure. So I know in the churches they have their recipes for holy water. But if holy means pure, then holy water could easily mean pure water. Could easily mean distilled water. Now, this glass I've been using to wash the red lion. This is kind of like the technique of panning for gold. The heavy stuff stays in the bottom, the lighter stuff floats, soluble stuff mixes with the water. I'm not throwing any of this away. I'm washing the heavies in here. The heavies. In alchemy, they speak of a heavy substance of great weight, which is interesting. So it's similar to panning for gold. The heavy stuff now will stay in the bottom, and I'm washing some of the lighter stuff off. So here, in this glass, I have my red lion that I have calcined, ground, and washed 2 times. It's been calcined twice, ground twice, washed twice. I'm seeing some gold colored sparkles in there, which I expect to see. That's something I want to see. That is expected. Now this material that I've removed, I consider this superfluous. I'm not going to throw it away, however. I'm going to use all of this. Now, in my understanding, I don't believe that this is necessary for anything. However, I'm going to evaporate it to dryness as a crystal growing experiment and see what stems from it. This does contain soluble salts. Soluble salts, fixed salts. I'm separating the kernel from the husk, so to speak. If this were an ear of corn, I would have the husk over here and the kernel here. But I have both parts. In alchemy, there's an old saying, gold is that which withstands the fire. What I have in this glass is the portion of my experiment that withstands the fire. So both of these glasses I will allow to reach dryness. This is not for consumption. Do not try this at home. There's no medical value here. This is a metallurgy experiment that has to do with geology and crystal growing and alchemy. Dissolve and coagulate. Once I finish preparing this red material, I intend to dissolve it. Roasting, grinding, washing, preparing until the amalgam is washed clean. And then I shall proceed with the old alchemical axiom, solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. There's a few others that fit it too. A few other steps on the alchemical ladder could be named. They come after that. I have tried these experiments different ways, and I've learned things that I'm sharing here. Alchemy is a journey, it's a learning experience for me. And some of the things I've learned, for instance, if I don't distill the water is not pure. It will then add its impurity to my experiment. And I had to learn that through experimentation. So this will dry, and I will resume calcining, grinding, washing, roasting. Trituration is an old word for grinding, washing the amalgam clean. If you can see that liquid down in the bottom, it's still colored. That means my material is not yet clean. I will process it. It's cleaner than it was, but I will process it until it's clean. This is Alchemy of Steven School. Thank you for watching. Do not try this at home. I see a comment. We have a comment. Chris said, nice. Thank you, Chris. It's good to see you here. Now, this drink that I have here is separate. It's not part of my alchemy experiment. You see this? This is not, my alchemy is not for consumption. This is not any part of my alchemy experiment. So, now the water that I distilled for this experiment has been expended. So, I'm going to go in the other room in a little while and start my alembic on the hot plate and distill some more water. Distilled water. You know, I've talked to a lot of people that come through from different churches, different religions. They bring different Bibles with them. They want to talk about Bible study and things. And I see the Bible as an ancient alchemy book. I see secrets in the Bible that other people do not see, because I look at it as from the point of view of an alchemist. If you look at Exodus 32:20, Moses and the golden calf, he took the great, I don't have it in front of me, I'm going to have to quote from memory, so it may not be perfect, but he took the graven image or the calf that they had made, burned it in the fire, strawed it upon the water, and made the Israelites drink it. Therefore, if the calf was said to be made of gold, if you burn gold in the fire and straw it upon the water, it doesn't do anything. So obviously in the Bible here we see, hello Rebel, it's nice to see you. Obviously we see in the Bible there are some metaphors or code words or secrets locked in the Bible within the pages. With Exodus 32:20, obviously Moses did not burn gold in the fire. He burned something else. But if you look at it, it's an alchemical recipe. Moses burned something in the fire, strawed it upon the water, and made them drink it. That means he made an ancient medicine with alchemy, fire and water. He made an ancient alchemical medicine that was very simple and primitive. That's how I see that. And if I was lost in the desert, I think it would be hard for me to fashion a gold calf out of jewelry with not much to work with, but it would make much more sense that a calf idol image could be created from something other than metal. There's a couple things that could have been used. Number one, it would have had to have been something that would burn in the fire and mix with water, like making a tea. It's basically a tea making recipe, even similar to a coffee making recipe. It's more towards those lines. It's, in my opinion, Exodus 32:20 is it's an old alchemy recipe. And if you Google, if you Google or research, use the search engine, research, was Moses an alchemist? I've done it myself, and it says Moses was an alchemist. He practiced alchemy. So, from my understanding, is the people of the Bible were alchemists, and they had alchemical recipes for things like that, and they also were said to live a lot longer too, which is interesting. I could get pretty deep into the Bible. Some of the church people they come through, they don't like to hear these things, like my understanding of the Holy Spirit. I believe holy means pure. Spirit means water. Holy Spirit means pure water. It says in the Bible, and I don't have the quote in front of me, but it says, the angel showed me a pure river of the water of life, clear as crystal, flowing forth from the throne of God and of the Lamb. A pure river of the water of life. And the tree of life was on the bank on either side of the river. This is, in my opinion, an ancient alchemy message. And I don't know that it's all that hard to figure out. I mean, I've seen some things in alchemy that it just unravels. It just unravels and unfolds. The deeper I get into alchemy, there's things. Now, if I had a picture of Thoth the Atlantean in front of me, I don't think I have a picture of Thoth the Atlantean. I think I had one at one time. I'm going to show you something. Now, I wish I had that picture of Thoth with me. It may be around here somewhere. If you look at pictures of Thoth the Atlantean, it's an alchemist with basically a bird's head with a long, curved beak. And what I see, when I see Thoth the Atlantean, I see my alembic. Let's see if I can get it in the camera here. Here we go, we're getting closer. Okay, see my alembic, I'm holding it in my hand. When I see Thoth the Atlantean, I see the alchemist superimposed over the alembic. Look at the head of Thoth the Atlantean. I wish I had the picture here to just compare it, but if you look at the head of Thoth the Atlantean and the beak, it's the head of the alembic. This is a secret in alchemy. It's a secret. The secret of Thoth the Atlantean, the secret of the alchemist, is this tool right here in my hand, the alembic. I have learned great secrets in alchemy. Let me just adjust my cameras. I've got two cameras going here. I could turn on a third. I have more cameras. I think I'm getting better at filming. I don't know. I'm trying to get better. I've got 2 GoPro cameras now. And I've got my cell phone with the nice camera built in. And then my laptop in front of me. It has a camera up here. I've also got a Sony CyberShot. That's really good. So anyway, I'm going to dig up later on in following videos a picture of Thoth the Atlantean, because when I compare it to this alembic, I see Thoth the Atlantean as the alchemist, with the alembic distillation head as his head, and comparing it to this, it's the body and the head. It's the same. It's Thoth the Atlantean, in my opinion, represents the alchemist and his alembic distillation vessel. I can do a lot of interesting works in this vessel, and I have 3 of these now of different sizes, and I may get more because they come in different configurations. That, like the head on the thing, sometimes you can get these in different sizes, or with a different condensing arm. Some have a short arm, some is a long arm, some has the curved end with the drip spout, some has a ground fitting on the end where you can add a condenser, and then there's also some that have an extra large neck, as big as 200 millimeter. I've seen. Imagine if the opening inside this part of the glass was 200 millimeter. That means when you open it up, you could really have good access to the contents inside, getting the volatile salts. I understand this alchemy tool here as Thoth the Atlantean, the alchemist, and his distillation vessel. Superimposed. They all interchange. I'm not saying Thoth the Atlantean was not a real person. I'm saying he was an alchemist with his distillation vessel, and that the images were superimposed to represent, in traditional alchemical symbolism, the alchemist and his glass. So that's probably about it for today. And then when I prepare to do some more alchemy, I will get some cameras rolling again. So this is Alchemy of Steven School. Do not try this at home. Not for consumption. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.